Hey folks, yeah, Thursday, I don't know what day in July this is, I think the 20 something. Anyway, so, oh man, we need to talk. Yeah, I've been going through some kind of funny, things lately. So, I don't know if I share with everybody about my dreams. I know I look tired. There we go. I look tired. I had vertigo yesterday, which was not so cool. So you guys didn't see me driving anywhere. It was nice, actually. Took the morning off from work, but then the evening class, I was like, oh, good luck. But it's kind of funny whenever I usually get vertigo or dizzy spells once a year, and it's usually towards the end of the year where I get it. So it's fascinating that I got this in the middle of the year. It was just really hot. It was so humid out here, and I probably wasn't drinking enough water. And I exercise every day, so basically my body was depleted. And it felt as though if I had, on your phones, your batteries, I was at the last bar. Anyway, I'm on a bumpy freeway for about 10 more seconds. So the weather's kind of weird. I've noticed that I think because of the weather, I was able to have vertigo because the weather changes too. Right now it's 78 degrees. 5 minutes ago it was 71 degrees. 20 minutes from now it might go back to 74 degrees. So you have all these different weather pattern changes and weather systems, and we have there's something funky in the sky, but I need to focus on driving. We have so many different things going on. There's this huge storm, or tropical depression as they call it, I think it's off in the Pacific somewhere. But the excess of that storm is really rushing over here where I am in Los Angeles. So we've been having super, super hot afternoons, really, really cold evenings, and then rain in the morning. Anyways, I want to talk about, how do you know that your visions are correct? How do you know that your messages are correct? How do you know when it's okay to talk to people that you got something? And how do you have that instinct or trust that what you're saying is going to be true? Kind of like the story I said a few videos ago about I'm going under a bridge. I was trying to play psychic with somebody. I know these abilities. And person on my left, I can't go forward if you move. Jeez Louise. If you guys don't know Los Angeles, the people cannot drive if their life depended on it. Anyway, I had told this woman, it was sort of I told her about a date. There's a guy she was supposed to meet, and this guy was actually going to run into her, and they're going to be boyfriend, girlfriend. And I said it in order for her to co-create the situation. I didn't say it in the form of that's what I actually saw. It was kind of my fault, but she did co-create something, but then she has a little bit of arrogance, so she kind of like just was like, oh, this guy was like hitting on me, and so like it was so gross. And so I'm like, there was the guy. There was another situation where I was teaching a Pilates class, and oh my God, this is kind of like, the women who watch me, please don't be offended. So there was a woman who came to my class going under another bridge, and I asked her, you know, we go on the floor, we do a lot of things on our belly today. So I asked the question, I said, by any chance, if anyone is expecting, you know, or have any lower abdominal, you know, reconstruction. It was too detailed, but that's how I am sometimes. I'm like, you know, I need to know these things, because if you, like, even if you had a C-section and your abs is split, I have to know as a instructor how to modify the workout. So this lady was like, are you asking, am I pregnant? Are you literally asking me, am I pregnant? And it was this whole meltdown of, you know, she's been having miscarriages, and she unfortunately had one terminal loss. And it was just sort of, my psychic ability was there, but I just didn't execute it properly. And it was the worst feeling that I have ever had since that day in April. Or was that May? But see, like, that's the thing about it, is you might have the gift, but then it can hurt. It can hurt people, it can hurt yourself. It can embarrass you for a long time. And there's no forgiveness whenever you are in that kind of situation. So moving on, I had a dream yesterday. I'm gonna tie this all in. This was the funkiest dream, which is why I'm still a little tired, because I literally was astral projected into this reality. And I've kind of been telling everybody that I have two realities, where when I go to sleep, I don't know where I go. I guess it's another Earth or something. And then, allegedly, and then when I'm back here in this conscious reality, I wake up, I'm taking those memories along with me. My memories going there are lost, but my memories coming here are very vivid. Which is probably why I also had vertigo yesterday, because sometimes when you cross over and you think that that's where you're supposed to be at, you're using the bathroom, you're eating food, you're making out with your partner, you know, there's some things that are very graphic and detailed, even down to how you cook, what utensils you're using, and then you come here, you're like, what the hell do I have a plastic fork, spoon for? When they're, you know, anyways. So there was an aerial event, and it was quite out there. It was basically, I saw a Black Hawk, and this Black Hawk had an orb around it. And that's what really caught my attention. I'm like, we can actually see the orb around an object. And this thing flew in such a weird, I don't know, then you saw other naval planes not chasing it, but also going off. It was like they were trying to catch something that everyone on the ground was like trying to figure out what was going on as well. I was at some mall or something, can't remember. But then you saw FedEx planes doing the same thing. Like all these planes were spiraling, and they were, I don't know, it was weird. Then the animals started acting funny. And then after, the animals really gave me the clue that, oh, I have to go tuck and cover. I have to go seek shelter. And what was scary was that there wasn't really essentially anywhere to hide, because all these things that went up were literally were becoming weapons, and they were coming down. That was kind of funky too. So all these different planes were basically building momentum and speed, and so when they dropped, they were like fireballs, basically. Very frightening, very scary, very real if you have astral projected. Yeah, I'm still kind of like my heart's still racing over it. All that people can really do is calculate where the plane was going and walk a straight line. And as a group, we were saying, step left, and we would step left and nearly get hit by a plane. Step right, move to the right, there goes another plane. Fortunately, no one in my dream state was killed, because I think if other people had astral projected into the same reality, sometimes, and not sometimes, what I know is if you die in your astral state, you actually die in the physical. This is just from what I don't like to say what I think I know. This is like what I know, because it's the only thing that resonates with my soul and my spirit. So how do you know that these things will happen? How do you know that this is a prophecy? How do you how do you take these things in your mind and make conscious or logical sense of it? Well, you gotta go old school about it. There goes my hiccups. You have to go old school. Decree it. God, is this your decree? Will this happen? Divine benevolence, clairvoyance, show me a affirmation that this is possible. Is this really going to happen? I'm really scared. Please show me how to protect myself. Just those little things you say out loud, because I'm talking to my good old buddy from Texas, and he's really been a good part of my journey the last week. He's been putting me on homework assignments. I'm like reading and watching so much, which is why there's kind of a delay on videos, because I'm trying to learn something. But he asked me this question of, Aaron, do you believe in the theory of, I don't know how to say it exactly, but it's basically saying that there's the God in us. We are God. We are all one. Like, it is all one nucleus. It's one atom. It's one bubble. Not that there's a separation of God and man. That it's all just one. And I was like, ooh, that kind of makes a lot of sense. Kind of like, I always think of, this is going to be another video. The God concept of the Big Bang Theory. Like, it started off with the Big Bang, right? God blew up. And he blew up into a million little shards and pieces. And all of his, little pieces started forming all the parts of the universe. And even down to the last part of the giblets that he had, humans were created. Or you could have said that the Anunnaki, shut up, motorcycle, I'm trying to speak. You could also say that the Anunnaki knew that this God I'm gonna let the motorcycle pass. That's how you know I'm right, because the enemy knows how to interrupt you. It could have been that the Anunnaki witnessed that there was this pure God. This God had pure heart. It self-imploded to make his own, world, to make his own universe. Because I don't know, if you're sitting up there bored, you have nothing to do, might as well explode and entertain yourself by creating your own universe, and then bringing yourself all back to one at the end anyway. Maybe that's what, I don't know, it's just a theory. It's a God concept. I believe it's possible. So, yeah, Anunnaki witnessed it, who said, oh, we could probably take little bits and pieces of what hasn't been created yet, and let's have our own experiment ourselves. So how do I know that that's true? How do I know that that's a prophecy, or am I just making that up? I read history. So reading history has a lot to do with reading history allows you to connect the dots, put the puzzle pieces together. Geez, I'm going under a lot of bridges. Yeah, that's the whole thing about it is when you read history and then you get dreams, you get visions, they all just seem to tie in. You get the missing pieces in your own. I guess it's like whenever you evolve to a higher vibration, and it doesn't mean like, oh, you have to stay a positive person. Who stays positive these days? I remember I was so cookie clean in the beginning of making these videos because I wanted to look, you know, like a very well articulate person in front of the viewpoint of the public. But then things started happening. People started getting to know me better through my videos. Started saying shit. And then I don't know, it's like society's falling apart. And yeah, then I started to let my guard down a little bit. Like, why don't I just have a conversation, not try to be or act like anything? Just chill out, Aaron. So long story short, as I was talking to my friend on the phone the other day, he was like, well, how do you know that these things are correct? How do you know that what you're following is valid information? Is there one God? God is us, we are God. And not like we can go, ooh, shakalaka, we can change things, but it's just more of like the essence of God code, God force, the speed of light, all the genetics of the makeup that makes God, his body, his actions, or she, I don't know, whatever it is. It's already in us. It's kind of like what I said the other day. If you had a vein and that vein has blood cells, it's either the blood cells are God giving us the flow and we are the vessel holding it, or God is the vessel holding us and we are the blood flow, the bloodstream, the cells circulating through it. Either way, it's the we are God, God is us concept. I'm trying to integrate a lot of stuff. How is that true? It seems true to me. At the end of the day, you just gotta go with what you believe, because if you're a co-creator, which you told you were, and you were also told that you do great mighty things, Jesus said that. And then also, what did God say in the Bible? I've created you in my own image. Hello. That's pretty much all I want to share with you all is, how do you know that you're correct? How do you know you're right? Oh, I keep navigating. Oh my gosh. So as my friend asked me, you know, is this correct? This is correct. Da 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 da. How do you know? How do you know? My mind always say, you know, I always ask for affirmations. I seek affirmations. My affirmation that day, there was a lot of 8s in license plates. So every license plate that happened to be in front of me, it started with an 8 and then some odd letters. And so I kept telling him, look, there's, even right now, 8J. That's what you have to do. You have to play a game with yourself sometimes. Like I was playing a game with a friend when I first was learning about my gifts. I told her about affirmation and she was like, well, how do you do it? And I just said, stand at an intersection, you know, where cars are going across the street. and you just think of a color. Constantly focus on that one color. At the time that I was telling her, I was thinking about the color white. And I told her, you will know what I'm manifesting, what I'm co-creating, by seeing the color of the car multiple times. This car is so noisy. Yeah, and the color was white that I thought of. So long story short, she was like tripping out because she kept seeing white cars go across the street. And she was like, how are you doing that? How are you? I'm like, if this is a simulation, right? If this is not a allegedly real world, it's just a holding area until enough people could, it's like training ground. It's like being in the army. It's like being prepared, getting equipped for something. So all this jibber jabber about, get right, saints, you're gonna go to hell if you don't get right. That's not the whole perspective. The perspective is we have to understand, these gifts, like the raising the frequency vibration, going into low frequencies to raise others out of it. Not being afraid to go into lower frequencies when you have to. Going into situations where you are unknowing, why am I here? But then you happen to say the right thing to the right person at the right time, because maybe possibly they're one of the 144,000 and they didn't know, and you just brought them into consciousness. Like this guy two nights ago, he was like wandering my street. He's not homeless, but he just doesn't seem to want to stay home a lot. And I could tell by his eyes, like he's just so out there and kind of just doesn't know where he is. And like as a soul, he doesn't know his place, is what I'm trying to say. And so when I sat him down, he was like, I walk these streets and no guys are interested in me. And I'm like, you're wandering these streets for some sex, really? So I told him, like, if you're walking around expecting, it's probably not gonna happen. But the way you manifest is you have to just imagine it's already happening. It already happened. You have to imagine the person that you see your situation with, and you have to like confirm the date, and you have to ask for affirmation. So he's like, so if I like wanted a hottie on Friday, will that work? I'm like, you gotta be very descriptive of what the person looks like and where it's going down. But I was just telling him I was poking fun, but I said on a serious note, there's a calling on your life, and you're wandering in the streets because your soul is bringing you out to discover something. And I told him, are you even looking up in the sky? Do you see the bright stars? Do you call on a lucky star when you look up? There's a lot of people in my community around me, and they dabble, they do drugs, they drink, they're just not too really focused on life. And so, but what's interesting is I always tell them that's alchemical, what do you call that? It's alchemy. Everything's alchemy. You're utilizing something to amplify a vibration. But once it's amplified, what do you do with it? A lot of people, what they do is they lower their frequency after by continuously adding on to the equation or giving that energy and frequency to other people. Then they go back into it. Then they give it away, and they go back into it, give it away. That's why it's called addiction. Because you're dictating the things that are being acquired, the things that are being applied to, you're dictating. You're sending them out. People don't really know this. This is actual channel message to me, because when I had an episode in the past, I had several episodes in the past, And that is not my behavior. That is not me as a person. Even in my stepfather's behavior, I was just like, oh no, he did it, but that's not me. And then once I got myself caught up, 4 or 5 years back, I think it's because someone had cursed me. They hexed me with it. They literally knew like how to do magic, and they knew the only way to get rid of their thing was to lay it on me. And the fact that I know about karma and burning off karma and ending timelines of people, at that time I knew that I had a mission, I had a job to do. So once you become aware of those feelings, you just kind of know, okay, this is not me, this is not part of who I am, I do not declare, I reverse and send this back. So that's really a lot, but I'll get more into that part of the story later. But now the freeway is clear, it's going to get noisy, so I'll let you guys go. But I want you guys to, start thinking about how to get your faith stronger, how to get your soul to be like, a titanium brick. That's where we're at now. This isn't about live your life, be perfect, and just sit on your couch and wait for the return of Christ. Christ is already here. We are having the consciousness of Christ. Jesus, the man, the one to usher in the 1,000-year reign, which is the 1,000 years of no more suffering, which takes us out of the so below into the as above. We get the highest amplified vibration, uninterrupted vibration. That's what all this leads to. But we have to start educating and schooling each other, so that way we're very more receptive to what's happening. Because the dream that I had was really telling me that if this event happened in the sky, people can explain 0 point to a blind sheep, and if 0 point were achievable to a FedEx plane, it can do some pretty gnarly things in the sky. And I don't think anyone's really much prepared for that, but it's going to happen. So when they say get right, it's in the wrong paraphrasing. I think get right really means like when it happens, you need to understand it's happening. You need to understand that it's of this earth, but you need to understand that is a vibration of frequency that you rose yourself to. Because when it comes to the descendants coming down and recruiting people to bring them back up, I don't know if that's a theory I heard. They want to know your mind. They want to know where your heart is. They don't really want to say, well, you did this, and that in the past, so you don't qualify. They just want to know what type of abilities can you bring to the table, and we need you. That's really all it means. All right, people, I gotta go. Thanks for putting up with me in traffic at 6:30 in the morning. I want to go back to bed. All right, everybody. Bye.